Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today we are going to work on a sympathy piece on a cross. So this is a wooden cross, and we have a little lady who makes these crosses and brings them to us. And I am going to use it as a standing spray. I'm going to start out, we're going to use faux flowers. So I'm going to start out with just a small piece of styrofoam. Now this is just a remnant from when we have had to use, they come in like a long spray bar. And so we usually have to trim them up. We always save the leftovers, and this is the reason, because you can always use them for something. So I'm going to take this piece of foam. There is a nail right there on the cross, and I'm going to press that foam right onto that nail, and then I'm going to take some waterproof tape, and I'm going to tape my foam in place. Now, I am not gluing directly to this cross because you never know if these people are going to want to take these flowers off. They're very likely going to leave them on, but you just never know. So I don't like to glue if I don't have to. I'm going to take my tape and I'm going to come across the back of that cross, and I'm going to take it all the way across, just like this. So go all the way around several times with your tape. All right, and then I'm going to come across the opposite way. You just want to make sure that it's put on pretty well. All right, and then I'm just going to break that tape, and it's taped into place. It shouldn't go anywhere. It's just crisscrossed all the way over. There is a hanger on the back of the cross here, so I'm going to take that and hang it on this door. Now this will be attached to a traditional stand, which is just a regular wire stand, but it's so much easier for you to see if I hang it on the door. Next, what I'm going to do is I am going to cover that foam. I don't want the foam to show. I want it to look nice and covered. So this is just Spanish moss, and I am just going to come all the way around my foam with that Spanish moss. And that's just going to completely cover that foam so you can't see it. Next, what I'm going to do is come in with some leather leaf. So this is silk leather leaf. We get leather leaf in two different colors. This happens to be kind of a lime green, which I think is pretty. So I also have, I'm going to move my table just a little bit closer to me. I have my hot glue pan right here. So if you have never worked with a hot glue pan, you need to order yourself one. They are wonderful. So I'm going to take my my leather leaf, and I am going to dip that stem right down into the glue, and I am going to insert it, and I think it's a little long, but I'm going to insert it right there. Now, I think that's going to be a little big. I don't want it to completely camouflage the fact that this is a cross. I don't want it to take away from the cross itself. So I am going to take and trim that, and then I've cut it shorter. I'm going to take my leather, dip that stem, and come back in. Okay? I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. I'm going to have the flowers coming kind of across the center of the cross. Again, I didn't do this the first time, but I'm going to cut it in half. So I have two different insertions. Take the smaller piece, press it into my foam, and I am gluing each of these pieces in because I want to make sure that it stays together. So what I'm going to do with my leather leaf is I am going to cut them into smaller pieces, and take my individual pieces and dip it in that glue and press it right into the foam. I like to add my greenery first. I always have, but if you don't want to put your greenery first, it's not a big deal at all. Each of my stems, I am dipping in my glue and tucking them right into that foam. And now I've got a little bit of larger size leaves. All right, so there's our greenery coming across the cross. And I got glue on my finger, so I'm going to pull that off. Next, I'm going to come in with some lines. So I'm choosing these, this is called Monkey Tail Pampas. It is a dried material. I'm choosing this as my line flower today. So I'm just going to take a stem and I'm going to break it. It breaks very easily. I'm going to dip that right into the glue and then I'm going to insert that line. Well, it broke, so I'm going to break that off and dip it again. Take a second piece, do the exact same thing. So my my line flower is coming diagonal across the same direction as the greenery, and each stem I am dipping in the glue. Okay, there is our line flower that looks so pretty, and it's really of course a dried material, but it gives you that line across the center of that cross. Next, we're going to come in with some hydrangeas. So I have some creamy colored hydrangeas. These are faux flowers. They chose artificial blooms. So I'm going to take, I like this creamy color, and we're going to use it with some autumn tones. So I'm going to take my two hydrangeas. I'm going to cut them short because I know that I want them short in this arrangement. And actually, I'm going to take one of these leaves that's still on the stem.
Yeah. So
and I'm going to add it to one of my hydrangeas that didn't have leaves. So there's our hydrangeas. I'm going to take one and tuck it here, and the second and tuck it there. So I'm going to trim that stem just a little more.
Yeah, we close it for today.
I'm going to dip it in the glue. I'm going to tuck that hydrangea right in.
Sure.
And I'm going to take my second bloom, dip it in the glue,
so you should be good as long as it's happening somewhere like cold.
and tuck it in. Now, anytime you're working with artificial flowers, you may want to go ahead and insert those flowers in and then come back and glue it. That's really completely up to you. For me, that's just an extra step that I would have to do, and so I don't usually do that. But if you are more comfortable doing that, you absolutely can. So this is a garden rose, kind of a faux gardeny looking rose. I love it, and it comes in lots of colors, but I love this creamy color. So I am going to take it, and I'm going to cut this stem. There are 5 blooms on a stem, so I'm going to take it and cut this up. I'm going to cut it into smaller pieces so that I have several different insertions. I'm dipping that stem into the glue, and I'm going to come about there.
You want this a little bit, right?
And anytime, if you mess up and you feel like, oh, I don't really like how that one's placed, you can always pull that out. And change it up. I love that faux flowers have wire in them, and you can kind of adjust them. They don't break usually. All right, so I've added my garden roses. Next, I thought we would come in with some pretty autumn blooms. So I have these really pretty little bushes. They're fairly small, but they are so pretty. And so I thought that we would take these and cut them apart and add some of this peachy and orangey tones to make this arrangement a little more fall. And I didn't want it to scream fall at you, but I thought if we added a hint of peachy colors, it would be really pretty. And so I have this little bush. I cut it apart, and I am just going to take my individual stems, and I am just going to glue those right into place. Now, if you need to extend the stems, sometimes they are really short, like these are fairly short, and you may need to extend the stems on your faux flowers. You can absolutely do that by using a wood pick or even a bamboo skewer. Works great by taping that onto the end of the stem. But if it's a smaller arrangement similar to this, you don't even have to add length to your flower. So again, I am just dipping all of my blooms in my glue. All of my stems, really, not the bloom, the stem itself. And I'm just tucking those right in. I'm going to add another bush just like that. Now, these faux flowers I actually ordered from SHEIN. And I have found they really have some beautiful faux flowers. The hydrangeas I got from a company called David Christopher's. So these hydrangeas came on a bush from David Christopher's, but the garden roses and these little fall toned mixed bushes I picked up from SHEIN. And y'all, I am very, very pleased with their quality. We do use a good many faux flowers and different things. And so we tend to order from several different places, with SHEIN being one of them, and we've been very pleased with their quality. I'm struggling just a little bit getting it into the moss. So you may want to, and I'm trying to get the strings off of glue. You may want to add the moss last, because sometimes it's hard to insert your stems into that foam with that moss, but it's working. Now the pampas plumes, the monkey tail pampas plumes, they are dried material, and I got those from a company called Budsy. Now Budsy sells us all of our fresh flowers, and they also have some really pretty dried flowers, and that happens to be one of the dried materials that they provide. Okay, there's our fall blooms. Next we're going to come in with some of these beautiful orangey toned mums. Now these actually, I ordered these from Amazon. They were a really good price. Love the color, works perfect for this autumn arrangement. So I'm going to tuck just a few of these in. And then I believe I'm going to add some pretty ribbon to this arrangement. So I trimmed up that stem. And I'm just trimming that stem with my wire snips. If you have not purchased yourself a good pair of wire snips, you need to do that. My favorite snips are Cobalt. I believe they came from Lowe's. And they are wonderful. Like, you don't have to work very hard to cut your stems. They're wonderful. Okay, to finish this arrangement, I think we will add a little bit of ribbon. Not a whole lot, but just a little bit. I'm going to grab, this is just a pretty plaid that we have here at the shop. And I think I'm just going to add just a couple of strips of this pretty plaid. So I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm just going to cut just a long strip. I just cut a long strip of ribbon there. I'm going to gather it at the top, just like that. And I'm going to use a wood pick, if I can find one. Here's one. This is just a Coey wood pick. I'm going to take that pick, and I am going to attach that ribbon right to that pick. The pick has a little wire on it, so I just wired that ribbon in place, just like that. I'm going to take the bottoms of my ribbon, and I am going to give it a dove cut, or a dovetail. cut. So I'm just making a V. Just like that, just a pretty dovetail cut finish on the bottom of that ribbon. And I'm going to do that on both ends. And then I'm going to take my wood pick and I'm just going to press it right into that floral foam, that hard. Well, I broke it, but that's good because it was a little too long. Now push that right down into that foam. Now what I'm doing is I am just doing a little bit of a crinkle. And there is our finished cross arrangement. Now it will be attached, so you can see our flowers there. It will be attached to a stand and we will take a picture so that you can see the finished product. Guys, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions about how we do things here at Flowers by the Bunch, you can always ask. We'd love to answer your questions. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, please give us a thumbs up. That helps people to see us. And if you do me a great big favor, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit that subscribe button right down below. And if you'll hit that bell, it'll give you notifications for when we have a new video. Guys, thanks so much. We'll see you soon.